I had just gotten off work at my job at the beer store at 3:30, and I come out and I hopped into my car and I went over to my other job at Blockbuster to go pick up some movies. And in the course of the events, just talking with my coworkers there, you know, we were looking out the window and the sky got very dark all of a sudden, and then we noticed the wind just kept getting heavier and heavier and heavier and stronger. And then there was just hail everywhere, and the trees were whipping around and the power went out. And you know, we were concerned, so we stayed back from the windows, and then in the course of about 3 minutes, the disturbance was gone.
I was over, I had noticed it was hailing a little bit and raining, so I'd gone over to the window that faces the park, and it was open a little bit, and I was just standing there checking the weather, and then all of a sudden I heard this incredible roar, which really I thought, okay, there's a train heading this way, and I thought, can't be, no train, okay, and I just roared to the family basement.
Sunday afternoon we were working inside, and it all came up really fast. We had small hail, and then within about 10 seconds it was golf ball size hail. And then we saw that tree whipping around, and I said to my father-in-law, we better get in the basement. So we ran downstairs, and it only seemed like about 10 or 15 seconds and it was done.
And all of a sudden there was a cloud of dust in the basement because somebody got their light on. And then we snuck back upstairs because we thought kind of the worst was over, had a quick look, and then went right back down again because it wasn't good. And shortly after that, we all came up, and I mean, we couldn't believe it, couldn't believe it.
So I hopped into my car, and then I started driving back into town along Huron Road there. And it wasn't until I came to Huron Road in Britannia that I had realized that something terrible had happened.
I was out walking the dog on the rail trail, and we went to get in the truck again, turned around, looked over the lake, and saw the upper clouds were heading north and the lower clouds were heading south. So we figured that some rough weather was in store, so we hopped in the truck and we drove away from town, seeing that it was going to be bad in town, and got about a block away, further away, turned around and saw a funnel cloud over top of town with plywood and stuff, debris flying all over the place.
Well, I didn't hear it myself, but my mom heard the freight train noise and said that very well could be a tornado, so I promptly grabbed my cell phone, candles, matches, headed straight for the basement. But my parents stayed watching the whole thing. They didn't think that, that something like that could happen here.
I jumped out of bed and started to leave the bedroom, but the air conditioner was coming through the window towards me. So I started pushing it back in, but I realized there was a train on the other side pushing the air conditioner. So I stepped aside real quick, and I did about 2 flips right across the room and into the wall on the other side of the bedroom. I think I'd be blind today if I'd stayed behind that air conditioner.
I work at the Sifto evaporator plant in Goderich, and I was at work at the time. I went out to my truck and got a section of the paper, and I pulled into I call it the tent, but it's a cover-all building, a big building we keep product in. And I started reading the paper, and I saw hail start, so I thought I better get back into the building just because I have a glass roof on my lift truck and I didn't want to get it broken. I had no idea what was coming, so I drove out of the tent, a short distance to the plant, up the ramp, and by the time I got to the middle of the 4 big bay doors where the truck's back in, the doors were coming in on me. So I exited my lift truck and grabbed onto a steel beam with one hand, I think, and covered my head with the other hand, and it all broke loose. The roof started coming down all around me, the doors all flew in, any glass in the place was gone. I, for some reason, took a quick peek out, and I saw my co-worker's SUV lift into the air, turn and come into the bay. So after I saw that, I just put my head down, and it was over in a matter of seconds.
you know, Goderich is never going to be the same after this. There's, you know, the square is destroyed.
So we were leaving Patty's and we walk out and we just see like all the trees are gone and like the tops of the buildings are gone and the cars are all flipped over.
It just looked terrible.
You throw around words that everyone throws around, you know, it's a war zone, it looks like a bomb hit it. Until you're actually there in one of those situations, you can't really explain it to people. There's no way to, I mean, even a photograph, you can't let them know and let them see really until you're in one of those situations.
It had looked like a bomb had gone off. A lot of trees had been twisted and snapped off and had the house buried. And arriving at the house, the carport attached had come down on the car and flattened the car.
I mean, this is a pretty small community. I'll admit I've been here my entire life, so I haven't had too much experience taking pictures of, I guess, terrible things you could say. But I mean, the first time taking pictures of, you know, families like walking out of their houses with whatever they can find and like just sitting on curbs crying because they have nothing left. I mean, it's, what do you say? It's an eye-opener, man.
If you had drawn a line in town to wipe out every major business and downtown business, you couldn't have done a better job.
I think it's going to take a long time for businesses to rebuild. I've spoken to several business owners in town, and many of them don't know if they're going to rebuild or restart. So there's that uncertainty there. I mean, the town's just pulled together. I mean, you've got random people helping random people just because they want to. I mean, everyone's affected, everyone can help each other.
There's been a lot of volunteers coming in and other municipalities. It's been a really good effort.
Like all these people out there are just doing an incredible work, and we don't know who they are, and everybody's helping everybody, which is just wonderful.
Lots and lots of people came from great distance, and they were older people, and they just worked like Trojans.
Firefighters, police, everybody did a really, really good job.
I think there's a tremendous amount of hope in this community. Just the outpouring of support of people helping people is fantastic.
But after that, I think it'll be stronger than it was before because the community got together and helped out.
So we did have a lovely town. We have lovely beaches, we have lovely parks, but you know, first and foremost, we have lovely people, and I think, you know, it's going to affect the way the town looks, but it only is making the people here and, you know, our community stronger.
There's a lot of healing in this too, because you still can't believe that this sort of thing can happen where we live, and now it's our turn to rebuild, and I think we can make it better than perhaps it was before.
As the community for Goderich in the future, I actually think it's going to be quite stronger after this.